Reception podcast.
I'm your host, lil'dave, and welcome to another episode of Excellent Reception, the podcast where we talk about timeless music and tell the stories behind the songs to help you better understand why they are so amazing. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, and wherever else podcasts are available. Please take the time to leave a review. These help to push up our rankings in the podcast charts so more people can discover Excellent Reception. Also, check out our website, www.excellentreception.com, for more information about the artist and the songs we have featured on the podcast.
Excellent Reception.
We are getting closer to the end of our first audio trip around the globe. So I want to take a quick stop back in the United States to visit the 50th state, Hawaii. As a network of islands located deep in the Pacific Ocean, it is a place that in many ways is a completely different world from the rest of the USA. You have exotic wildlife, beautiful beaches, volcanic landscapes, a melting pot of different cultures, and a deep connection to the heritage of its native people. For a place as beautiful and full of culture as the state of Hawaii, we often overlook their musical contributions. The first thing that comes to mind when thinking of the sounds of this Polynesian locale is usually the strumming of a ukulele, hula dancing, and cheesy exotica music, and even Elvis for whatever reason. But please understand that the music of Hawaii is much more complex and diverse than expected. There is a rich history of guitar innovations, such as the slack key finger-picked playing style and the invention of the steel guitar, which is the source of that haunting sliding note sound that is synonymous with Hawaiian music. The folk music of this region has its own musical scale, the Hawaiian scale, and tends to have rhythms that use a meter known as duple time, in which each bar has 2 beats. These things all help to give Hawaiian music that unique feel that we are all familiar with. When it comes to modern music, Hawaii has not just been in a bubble all these years. The artists and musicians here have been hard at work to put their own stamp on genres like jazz, rock, reggae, hip-hop, and soul music. A lot of this material is highly creative, beautiful, and full of references to the cultural experience on these islands. While a lot of these artists are known for producing some seriously high-level material, it was always an uphill battle to share their work with the outside world. During the 70s and 80s, Hawaii experienced a major musical renaissance, inspired largely by the R&B and disco music getting heavy rotation in the dance clubs of Honolulu and popular sounds being played by cover bands at resorts and tourist traps across the islands. These artists flocked to the local recording studios with the hopes of making it big by combining their love of rhythm and groove with authentic Polynesian sounds. A few of these bands had some major successes outside of the islands, like Seawind and Kalapana, but most didn't make it past the West Coast. If you ever get a chance to dig through some vintage wax at a record store in Hawaii, definitely pay close attention to albums that were produced locally. There's a treasure trove of great music there for you to find.
Excellent Reception.
One of the most sought-after albums of this Renaissance era was Nohelani Cypriano's self-titled album. It contains a song that really has found a special place in my heart. It's a humble little song called Lihue. Lihue is a laid-back and easygoing song that blurs the lines between soul and yacht rock and boogie funk and jazz fusion. From the minute the first few notes are played, it's difficult to keep images of some sunny island paradise out of your mind. with the keyboard playing these warm, mysterious tones and exotic birds singing in the background, it seems obvious where things are going to go. Suddenly, this heavy synthesizer bass line comes in and takes the track to a whole different, funkier place. The song's title, Lihue, is the name of the capital city of the island of Kauai. The lyrics have the singer reminiscing over a lost lover and the romantic evenings they spent on the moonlit beaches of this island paradise. As the first single for this album, Lihue sets the stage for the overall feel of the project, which producer Mike Cord described as nostalgic Polynesian funk. This album was the product of studio experimentation and songwriting sessions that took place between Nohelani Cypriano and multi-instrumentalist Dennis Grau, which they recorded in an old school bus that was turned into a studio. Throughout the project, you could hear them combining electronic instruments like ARP's Odyssey bass, the Omni synthesizer, and the string ensemble, with more organic sounds like piano, Fender Rhodes, and clavinet. Mike Cord helped them to bring the project together and release it on his own label, Panaola Records. In the late 70s, a radio disc jockey named Ron Jacobs was producing a series of compilations called Homegrown, which highlighted the sounds of Hawaiian artists who were making contemporary music. Nohelani and Dennis happened to be recording Lihue around the same time they were accepting submissions for Volume 2 of the Homegrown series. The pair rushed over a demo copy of the recording in just barely enough time to make the deadline. The song would go on to be chosen for the compilation, which would prove to be a launching pad for Nohelani's singing career. By the time her debut album came out, Lihue was getting heavy rotation on the radio, and it was one of the biggest singles of the year. Nohelani went on to have a long career in music, releasing many albums, winning lots of awards, and even putting out another version of Lihue in 1995. The song has found its way to becoming a highly desired, rare groove classic. In recent years, it has experienced a huge resurgence in popularity amongst DJs and music collectors in Europe, the US, Japan, and beyond. So now let's take a moment to sit back and enjoy this beautiful song. Here is Nohelani Cypriano and her classic tune, Lihue.
Be
This is the Excellent Reception Podcast.
Make sure you take the next step and further explore the music of Nohelani Cypriano, the homegrown compilations, and other artists who hail from the Hawaiian Islands. A good place to start is the website Aloha Got Soul. They are a blog that documents classic soulful music from Hawaii, and they also work as a record label that reissues hard-to-find music. Thank you once again for tuning in to Excellent Reception. If you love what we're doing here, please spread the word to other music lovers you know. Make sure you check us out at excellentreception.com. And if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to the podcast so you can be the first to hear new episodes. Also, you can listen to my broadcast radio show, Eavesdrop Radio, in Philadelphia, every Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. on WKDU 91.7 FM or streaming live online at wkdu.org. So until next time, this is your host, lil'dave, signing off for Excellent Reception, where we're always coming in loud and clear with the sounds you need to hear.
Excellent Reception.